Hello everyone, welcome to my channel The Story Girl. Today I'm going to tell you the story Leela's Friend by R.K.Narayan. The full name of this writer is Rashipuram Krishnaswamy Iyer Narayan Swami. Siddha was hanging about the gate at a moment when Mr. Sivashankar was standing in the front veranda of his house, brooding over the servant problem. Sir, do you want a servant? Siddha asked. Come in, said Mr. Sivashankar. As Siddha opened the gate and came in, Mr. Sivashankar subjected him to a scrutiny and said to himself, does not seem to be a bad shot. At any rate, the fellow looks tidy. Where were you before? He asked. Siddha said, in a bungalow there, and indicated a vegue somewhere. In the doctor's house. What is his name? I don't know, master, Siddha said. He lives near the market. Why did they send you away? They left the town, master, Siddha said, giving the stock reply. Mr. Sivashankar was unable to make up his mind. He called his wife. She looked at Siddha and said, he does not seem to me worse than the others we have had. Leela, their 5-year-old daughter, came out, looked at Siddha, and gave a cry of joy. Oh, father, she said, I like him. Don't send him away. Let us keep him in our house. And that decided it. Siddha was given 2 meals a day and 4 rupees a month, in return for which he washed clothes, tended the garden, ran errands, chopped wood, and looked after Leela. Siddha, come and play, Leela would cry, and Siddha had to drop any work he might be doing and run to her, as she stood in the front garden with a red ball in her hand. His company made her supremely happy. She flung the ball at him, and he flung it back. And then she said, now throw the ball into the sky. Siddha clutched the ball, closed his eyes for a second, and threw the ball up. When the ball came down again, he said, now this has touched the moon and come. You see, here a little bit of the moon sticking. Leela keenly examined the ball for traces of the moon and said, I don't see it. You must be very quick about it, and Siddha said, because it will all evaporate and go back to the moon. Now hurry up. He covered the ball tightly with his fingers and allowed her to peep through the little gap. Ah, yes, said Leela. I see the moon, but is the moon very wet? Certainly it is, Siddha said. What is in the sky, Siddha? God, he said. If we stand on the roof and stretch our arms, can we touch the sky? No, if we stand on the roof here, he said. But if you stand on a coconut tree, you can touch the sky. Have you done it? Asked Leela. Yes, many times, said Siddha. Whenever there is a big moon, I climb a coconut tree and touch it. Does the moon know you? Yes, very well. Now come with me. I will show you something nice. They were standing near the rose plant. He said, pointing. You see the moon there, don't you? Yes. Now come with me, he said, and took her to the background. He stopped near the well and pointed up. The moon was there too. Leela clapped her hands and screamed in wonder. The moon there! The moon is here also. How is it? I have asked it to follow us about. Leela ran and told her mother Siddha knows the moon. At dusk, he carried her in and she held a class for him. She had a box filled with catalogues, illustrated books, and stumps of pencils. It gave her great joy to play the teacher to Siddha. She made him squat on the floor with a pencil between his fingers and a catalogue in front of him. She had another pencil and a catalogue and commanded, now write. And he had to try and copy whatever she wrote in the pages of her catalogue. She knew 2 or 3 letters of the alphabet and could draw a kind of cat and a crow. But none of this could Siddha even remotely copy, she said, examining his effort. Is this how I have drawn the crow? Is this how I have drawn the bee? She pitched him and redoubled her effort to teach him. But that good fellow, though an adept of controlling the moon, was utterly incapable of playing the pencil. Consequently, it looked as though Leela would keep him there, pinned to his seat till possible wrist cracked. He sought relief by saying, I think your mother is calling you into dinner. Leela would drop the pencil and run after the room, and the school hour would end. After dinner, Leela ran to her bed. Siddha had to be ready with a story. He sat down on the floor near the bed and told incomparable stories of animals in the jungle, of gods in the heaven, of magicians who could conjure up golden castles and fill them with little princesses and their pets. Day by day, she clung closer to him. She insisted upon having his company all her waking hours. She was at his side when he was working in the garden or chopping or wood, and accompanied him when he was sent to errands. One evening he went out to buy sugar and Leela went with him. When they came home, Leela's mother noticed that a gold chain Leela had been wearing was missing. Where is your chain? Leela looked into her shirt, searched and said, I don't know. Her mother gave her a slap and said, How many times have I told you to take it off and put it in the box? Siddha, Siddha, she shouted at a moment later. As Siddha came in, Leela's mother threw a glance at him and through the fellow already looked queer. She asked him about the chain. His throat went dry. He blinked and answered that he did not know. She mentioned the police and shouted at him. She had to go back in the kitchen for a moment because she had left something in the oven. Leela followed her, whining, Give me some sugar, mother. I am hungry. When they came out again and called Siddha Siddha, there was no answer. Siddha had vanished into the night. Mr. Shivashankar came home an hour later, grew very excited over all of this, went to the police and station and lodged a complaint. After her meal, Leela refused to go bed. I will not sleep unless Siddha comes and tells me stories. I don't like you, mother. You are always abusing and worrying Siddha. Why are you so rough? But he has taken away your chain, baby. Let him. It does not matter. Tell me a story, mother. Sleep, sleep, said mother, attempting to make her lie down on her lap. Tell me a story, mother, Leela said. It was utterly impossible for her mother to think of a story now. Her mind was disturbed. The thought of Siddha made her panicky. The fellow, with his knowledge of the household, might come in at night and loot. She shuddered to think that what a villain she had been harboring all the days. It was good God's mercy that he left us now, and he had not killed the child for the chain. Sleep, sleep, Leela, sleep, she cajoled. Cannot you tell the story of the elephant? Leela asked. No. Leela made a noise of deprecation and asked, Why should not Siddha sit in our chair, mother? Mother did not answer the question. Leela said a moment later, Siddha is gone because he would not be allowed to sleep inside the house just as we do. We should always be made him sleep outside. Mother, I think he is angry with us. By the time Shivashankar returned, Leela had fallen asleep. He said, What a risk we took to engage the fellow. It seems he is an old criminal. He has been in jail half a dozen times for stealing jewelry from children from the description I gave. The inspector was able to identify him in a moment. Where is he now? Asked the wife. The police know his haunts. They will pick him up very soon. Don't worry. The inspector was furious that I did not consult him before employing him. 4 days later, just as father was coming home from the office, a police inspector and a constable brought in Siddha. Siddha stood with bowed head. Leela was overjoyed. Siddha, Siddha, she cried and ran down the steps to meet him. Don't go near him, the inspector said, stopping her. Why not? He is a thief. He has taken away your gold chain. Let him. I will have a new chain, Leela said, and all of them laughed. And then Mr. Shivashankar spoke to Siddha, and then his wife addressed him with a few words on his treachery. They then asked him where he had put the chain. I have not taken it, Siddha said briefly. And he looked feebly, and he was looking at the ground. Why did you run away without telling us? Asked Leela's mother. There was no answer. Leela's face becomes red. Oh, policeman, leave him alone. I want to play with him. My dear child, said the police inspector, he is a thief. Let him be, Leela replied haughtily. What a devil you must be to steal a thing for such an innocent child, remarked the inspector. Even now it is not too late. Return it. I will let you go, provided you promise to do such a thing again. Even now. Leela's father and mother too joined this appeal. Leela felt disgusted with the whole business and said, "Leave him alone. He has not taken the chain. You are not at all reliable position witness, my child," observed the inspector humorously. "No, he has not taken it," Leela screamed. Her father said, "Baby, if you don't behave, I will be very angry with you." Half an hour later, the inspector said to the constable, "Take him to the station. I think I shall have to sit with him tonight." The constable took Siddha by the hand and turned to go. Leela ran behind them, crying, "Don't take him! Leave him here! Leave him here!" She clung to Siddha's hand. He looked at her mutely, like an animal. Mr. Shivashankar carried Leela back to the house. Leela was in tears. Every day when Mr. Shivashankar came home, he was asked by his wife any news of the jewel, and by his daughter, "Where is Siddha?" "They still have him in the lockup, though he is very stubborn and would not say anything about the jewel," said Mr. Shivashankar. "Wah! What a rough fellow he must be," said his wife with a shiver. "Oh, these fellows who have been in a jail once or twice lose all fear. Nothing can make them confess." A few days later, putting her hand into a turmeric pot in the kitchen, Leela's mother picked up a chain. She took it to the tap and washed off the coating of the turmeric on it. It was unmistakably Leela's chain. When it was shown to her, Leela said, "Give it here, I want to wear the chain." "How did it get into the turmeric pot?" Mother asked. "Somehow," replied Leela. "Did you put it in?" asked Mother. "Yes." "When?" "Long ago, the other day." "Why didn't you say so before?" "I don't know," said Leela. When father came home and was told, he said, "The child must have any chain there hereafter. Did not I tell you that I saw her carrying it in her hand once or twice? She must have dropped it in the pot sometime, and all its bother on an account of her." "What about Siddha?" asked Mother. "I will tell the inspector tomorrow. In any case, we could not have kept a criminal like him in the house."